Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2022, well, that was a lot of 20s, 2022 brand new book, Tiger Honor, written by Yoon-ha Lee. This is the sequel book to 2019's book by Yoon-ha Lee, Dragon Pearl. This is another addition to the Rick Rider Presents book series. 247 pages. Perfect sequel. I did not expect any of this. It was fast, it was fun, it's fresh. So, Yoon-ha Lee, I was not aware of their pronouns back in 2019 when we first talked about Dragon Pearl. Dragon Pearl was the first, and I had to look this up. Dragon Pearl was the first book review I ever did. That was the first one, and then I was like, you know what? Let me go back to Rick's books. Let me go back to all of the other Rick Rider Presents books. So, thank you to Dragon Pearl. Originally starting our quest of rereading, conversing, starting the conversations, of those of us who have read them, thoughts, opinions, comments, questions, concerns, theories. So I did not know Yoon-ha Lee uses he, him pronouns. I did not know that. Yoon-ha Lee, and I had to look this up, is a transgender male, has a husband named Joseph, which is a great name because it's my name. They have a daughter, Annabelle, I believe. I believe it's Annabelle. So I didn't know this. I did not know the pronouns that Yoon-ha Lee uses until I looked it up, and because I saw it at the back of the book, Yoon-ha Lee, and then it said he, and I was like, I'm confused. But then I looked it up and I checked back on Dragon Pearl, and pronouns weren't used for the author's notes, and then pronouns were used in this, and I was like, all right, let's make sure that we use the correct pronouns, he, him pronouns. So thank you, Yoon-ha Lee, for making this incredible franchise. I'm very excited for more books. So Dragon Pearl is all about Min, right? Min's quest as a cadet in the Thousand Worlds Space Force, and, her brother June as a ghost, and on their fox questing to get the Dragon Pearl from this evil, Captain Juan, who's off to take the pearl to sell it to the rival forces of the different stars, right? To sell it to them, because the Dragon Pearl can either terraform a planet or it can destroy a planet. So it can be used for either, depending on whose hands it actually has, what purpose of it. In this book, Juan's back as the antagonist, but Min is not the protagonist. And you're like, how? Because then you're looking at this and you're like, Tiger Honor. Okay, so Captain Juan was a tiger, right? White tiger captain, tiger spirit, can anamorph, into a tiger, back to a human, blah, 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 right? So who the hell is this person on the cover of this book with this tiger spirit, right? That was my first thought when I first saw the poster of this, when it was first announced on Insta, and I was like, yo, who is this kid? That is not Min. So it turns out the main character of this book is Sabine Juwang. Oh, I will never be able to pronounce this. My Korean is not, I don't speak Korean, so my pronunciation is terrible. I apologize in advance. Okay, Juwang Sabine, because we as English speakers use first name and then surname, right? First name, last name. So I am Joe and then Masiello. First name, last name, right? So in a lot of Asian cultures, they switch it. They do last name, first name. Why? Couldn't tell you. It's just how it is. So Sabine's first name is Sabine, right? S-E-B-I-N. But his last name is Juwang. So when you say their actual name, keyword is they, because they use they, them pronouns. When you say their actual name, it's Juwang Sabine, right? So when I first got the name of Sabine, I was like, oh, Sabine Wren from Star Wars Rebels. I actually have her minifigure right over here. This is a very rare and hard to find minifigure, but we have our good old-fashioned Sabine Wren with her beautiful spray paint pen and her blaster and all those good things, right? We'll put her back later. So my first thought was Sabine Wren, but she's S-A-B-I-N, and Sabine, Juwang Sabine, is S-E-B-I-N. Okay, there you go. There's my trying to figure out how to pronounce Korean names and dialect and all that good stuff. So, Juwang Sabine is a 13-year-old. He is in the Juwang clan. They are a whole tiger clan. And Juwang Juan is the captain who is the antagonist of Dragon Pearl. So Min is not the main character of Tiger Honor. Captain Juan's, I don't remember the term. It's when someone uses they them pronouns, because you have either niece or nephew, right? So like, what is the term? I feel like they mentioned it. Niece-few? I think it was niece-few. Jo Huang Sabine is the niece-few of Captain Juan. Okay. I'm trying to get the pronouns in order. It's the more you say it, the more it solidifies in your mind. It's not something you're used to saying, and that's fine. You just got to practice, and you'll get there. So I think the term is niece-few. So Sabine is the niece-few of Juan, and Sabine is the main character of this book. Sabine is the protagonist. So it's very quick, 247 pages. Boom, boom, boom. Sabine gets a letter from some guy in the Thousand World Space Forces, and, well, the whole fam, the Zhou Wang clan, gets a whole letter saying how Juan is a traitor, and, you know, he's going to be court-martialed as soon as they find him because he's done terrible things. You know, he's a traitor to the Space Forces. And we know that because he was working against the Space Force, the Thousand World Space Forces, to obtain the Dragon Pearl in the first book. So now that Sabine is the main character, Sabine gets his cadet letter, but then also gets their cadet letter, excuse me. But then also they get, the whole family gets the, you know, be on the lookout for Juan because he's going to be court-martialed. He's a traitor to the Thousand World Space Forces. So this chauffeur, if you want to call them that, escorts Sabine to the Haiti? Pronunciation, man. I'm trying. Haiti. Oh, like Hey from Moana, right? Hey the chicken. So Haiti. The fleet vessel is called the Haiti. So the Haiti is the ship that Sabine and 3 other cadets are being brought upon. And so, like, they're all starting to take their oaths to the Thousand Worlds, you know, Space Force. But, like, Sabine gets a sniff of their uncle, Juan. And they're like, wait, no, Juan's a traitor. Why would he be on the ship right now? But he does. But Sabine doesn't get a chance to say this to the new captain of the Haiti. And so explosions, interruptions happen within the first, like, you know, 30-something pages of this book. And Sabine doesn't get to actually say their oath to the Thousand Worlds. So they're kind of like a gray area. They're not really a cadet, but they are a cadet because they're working now on the Haiti to make sure the ship doesn't, you know, die as they're gating to the next port. So it's just so interesting. It's a whole space battle on the ship. And then it's a matter of, there's this Inspector Yi who's on the ship with Min, who we know and love from the first book. And so why is Min there? Will people know that she's actually a Gamihu? A fox spirit? Thank you for the pronunciations in the back. I do appreciate that. Gumiho. 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 A Gumiho, a fox spirit. Will they know that she is a fox, as well as Sabine being a tiger? You know, how will the two interact? What's going to happen? Because Min can charm. She can charm speak, just like Piper McLean can charm speak back in the Heroes of Olympus and the Trials of Apollo books. So, like, charm speaking, it's different cultured charm speaking. So we have the Greco-Roman to now the Korean mythology of charm speaking within a fox. Very interesting, Gumiho. But we know and love Min, right? So why is Min on the ship with this Inspector Yi, and what's going on? So Juan reveals himself and convinces Sabine to join his group of misfits, if you will, because he now has associates, if you will, from different clans who are against the Thousand Worlds to obtain the Dragon Pearl, which happens to be on the ship. So it's, again, another quest for the Dragon Pearl, but to also, you know, destroy the ship in the process so that way they can get a smooth getaway. Who pledge their allegiance to whom and whose family honors to what clan and all that stuff, right? So the quest now is survival, if majority of the cadets, the staff in general, the everyone is knocked out of some sort. What happens next? What does Sabine do in their time of honor? Do they honor their family that they literally got a scar on their right palm for to honor the family name? I should just keep this open because I don't mean to butcher names. I don't mean it. Ju Huang, the Ju Huang clan. There we go. Does Sabine dishonor the Ju Huang clan by keeping the loyalty to the Thousand Worlds Space Forces, which he didn't technically pledge his oath to yet? It's still pledged their oath to yet. It's still that gray area. So, or do they just pledge their allegiance blindly to their Uncle Juan, to their Captain Uncle Juan? Mystery ensues. So then it's Juan using Min's charm speak to blackmail her. That way her brother June is not exorcised away from the shaman with their special dog who can, do stuff with sound waves. Very interesting how it's explained. And then it's a matter of trying to trick Juan, having Sabine trying to trick Juan, trying to trick their uncle into giving up the treasonous act, so that way everyone doesn't have to die on the ship, as opposed to not everyone dying on the ship. Just give up, admit the fault, let's just move on, because there's no reason that you have to do this for the family, for the Ju-Wong family. There's no reason to dishonor the Ju-Wong clan as you just did as a traitorous, individual who's not going to be court-martialed. So Sabine has their moment, and Sabine and their uncle have a fight, and there's a massive battle at the end. There's a few battles in between, but there's a massive battle in the end, and then there's a 3-day coma. And then Sabine finally wakes up, and then they have to, give their testimony, and they have to do all this stuff, against their uncle. And so eventually, after a trial, Captain Juan, doesn't fight the charges of treason. And so, kind of gives a nod to Sabine that it's okay, say your piece in regards to what's happened, what's gone on. And, eventually, Sabine then gets a psychological and physical leave to then recuperate, and then they go on the Heite, when it's now recovered after all the explosions and damage that it's gone on for the next mission. So it's now what happens next. So it's very interesting having the protagonist of the first book be a secondary character in the second book. I can't remember that being a thing in other books I've read. I'm amazed at how I wasn't turned off or bored with this book, because Min's not the main character. Sabine's the main character. And now that we have a new protagonist with a what happens next kind of a thing, is Sabine and their friends going to be okay on the Heite for the next adventure, for the next mission? Will the third book be about Sabine and their friends? Or will the third book be about Min and June on a different quest? Will it be about a completely different person? Who knows? And I think that's what's really cool about these two books, is that I did not expect this. I did not expect anything from this book, to be honest. I expected another amazing, Koreans in space kind of book, sci-fi Koreans in space kind of adventure that we got in the first book. Korean mythology, sci-fi adventure, space thriller. There we go, space opera. I didn't know in advance that I would love this book as much as I do, because Min's not the main character. And I think that's my point. Perspective. There's different perspectives to different situations. Just because Min was fighting against Sabine's uncle in the first book doesn't mean that all of Juan's family is bad, quote unquote. Most of the Ju-Wong clan is bad, because they've been doing shady deals behind the Thousand Worlds back, for quite some time, as we learned at the end. But just because your family is bad doesn't mean you yourself are bad. Interesting. A very beautiful conversation starter. Sabine being this main character, using they, them pronouns, a non-binary character. What's really important about this two-book series so far is also the Thousand Worlds folk, everybody who lives within the Thousand Worlds, uses pronoun pins. They put pins on their collars in regards to what pronouns that they want to identify as. Are they non-binary? They use they, them. Are they cisgendered male? They use he, him. Are they cisgender female? They to use her, she, her. What other pronouns, mixing of pronoun? What pronouns do you identify as within gender? Genius. Keep it labeled. there you go. One of the renegades from another clan was saying to Sabine at one point something like, you know, our culture, we don't use those pins, but you would then refer to me as using they, them pronouns. And I was like, that's so neat that they're just bringing in different aspects of, just because one culture does it doesn't mean a different culture does it, but the other culture doesn't disassociate with that culture that they would translate. Just because we don't use the pins, you would then refer to me as they, them. I use they, them pronouns. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So modern, so sleek. Sleek. That's the best way to explain this. Let me just go like that to see the sleek shimmer of the Tiger Honor logo. Juhuang Sabine, cadet of the Thousand World Space Forces. I wish thee well. I wish thee all the greatest happiness of your 13 years and so on. And I cannot wait for the next book. It's been 3 years since the first book to this book. Mathematically, 2025, we'll have the third book. We'll see. I'm hoping. I'm hugging it close. I'm hugging it close to my chest that it's not 3 years from now, because I love these books. Love these books. I love the Reed Riordan Presents banner. I love the Dragon Pearl franchise, which is really the Thousand Worlds. Is it called Thousand Worlds novel? A Thousand Worlds novel. Yeah. What's the next Worlds novel? Are we going to get a third main character? Are we going to have Min, Sabine, and somebody else do something in regards to a Dragon Pearl? Are we going to terraform? Let's terraform a planet. Who knows? It's endless. It's endless possibilities within this franchise. Obsessed. Go check it out. Mucho mahalo.